Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
I was gonna say happy New Year.
Good to have you back.
Yes, sir. Glad to be back.
Glad to be
I
back.
will briefly tell you a couple things, and they are, I need to cover. But France was a little bit different this time. On the Champs-Élysées, we were right there on the Champs-Élysées, the Arc de Triomphe. And I was out early one morning, and all at once, at least 15 big police vans, troop carriers, rolled down the Champs-Élysées, doors open, riot squads jumped out with knee pads, shoulder pads, everything that they had on, with AK-47s. And it's a little bit eerie. In every intersection down through there, troops were lined up. But the protest happened on the other side, but they were ready in case that it happened. But otherwise, the two metros, 1 and 14, we didn't get to 14, but 1, both of those, greetings, how are you? Happy New Year. All right, they were all automated, no human contact. The rest of the metros had human contact. All of those were on strike. So all the metros were shut down, all the RERs, all the trains. Some of the airport was closed on the Tuesday. And, but we didn't have any trouble. We were on one side, it worked out well for us, but it is still going on. It hasn't been settled. 42 retirement plans, pension plans, trying to merge it into one, and everybody, like Roger has more than I get in the pension plan. So he's not willing to give up, and they're trying to merge it together, and everybody's on strike at times. So anyway, that's what it is in France.
That's sort of like the state budget, right?
What is the state budget? We don't know what that is.
There is no budget.
No.
I'd like to say that Wayne in Paris, with what he was just saying about the possibilities of protest and police on the streets,
Yeah.
with all their garb and their AK-47s, and what was Wayne doing? He was sitting drinking beer and sending me a picture of the beer and the bottle, and then the caption was, I don't like this beer, I'm going to go to the hard stuff or the wine. That's what I'm going to do. And I think that's disgusting. I think as an American being there at that particular time, with the protest going on and him intoxicated, I think there should be a fine for that. What do you say?
Drink here.
That is service above self.
All right, I'll
So say one, so say we all.
Wait,
yes, sir.
drinking French beer is punishment enough.
But anyway, the strike is the worst they've had in the history of France. That's how bad it is. Anyway.
Well, I don't know if the Bastilles was taken in a big strike.
All right, couple items, okay. Number one, Jake's food, you got everything covered. All right, Rick was talking about him losing weight, so please help Jake out. Richard, do you have any announcements this morning?
I do.
All right, would you please give it?
I do. I have an announcement.
Well, he's already said you have an announcement. Will you make it?
It's kind of redundant.
Jake's Food is going to be needed on the 25th of this month. That's when we're going to feed the need. The 25th of this month is a Saturday. I would need everybody to come, obviously, and everybody should bring at least a crock pot or something of soup there. We will make sandwiches. I'll make sure that I get the food for the sandwiches. Ron will help us with the bread. And I've got the drinks taken care of.
French beer?
No French beer.
What time?
But 9 o'clock is probably a good time for people to show up and help with the food. We'll cook some of it there. If you need some of it warmed, we'll take care of all that. Help make the sandwiches early. I'll get the chips. G and I will get the food for the bags of food for the families. And the throws, we're working on getting some throws as well. I've got some socks. I already got some socks for men's socks, women's socks, children's socks. So we'll need somebody to man the tables for those, to give those away. So there's a lot of things going on the 25th of January, starting at 9 o'clock. Usually ends at right at 12, and then a little bit of cleanup, and then we all go home.
And this year, can you not have the septic system back up, please? That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can not back that thing
I
up.
remember that.
That was fun.
What's the name of your church?
Cross Lutheran Church in Hickory.
Okay. Good deal. All right, that's important. We've got to keep it on the agenda.
And that's what this money is for.
Okay.
What's the address of Christ?
324 Second Avenue Southeast. 324 Second Avenue Southeast.
You got it. All right, Lynn, you had an announcement this morning.
What I get for telling them. I saw it on the news the other day, New Year's Eve. I don't know if anybody saw that. The couple had twins. Okay? One was born at 11:30 on the 31st. The other one was born at 1:15. So they were all chuckling how the young one's gonna get to pick on the other one, saying, you're a whole year older than I am, and they were going back and forth and everything. Guy called in and said, that's not gonna be the big issue. The younger one's gonna be able to tell the older one in a couple of years, you're a decade older than I am.
All right, put $1 on the table.
Oh, okay.
All right, couple
Okay, I'll
items
quit listening
quickly.
to the radio then.
All right, yes,
I have two quick announcements.
yes, please.
So on January 1st, our daughter, our middle daughter, Trilby, got engaged to be married. Everybody, we might have to start a wedding fund on it. She told me where she wants to have it and what she wants to do. I'm like, oh gosh, I wasn't thinking about that. And the second announcement is our big dog Cedric, who's actually about 30 pounds bigger than Jake, is gonna have surgery next week in Raleigh. So everybody be thinking about Cedric.
Good. All right, I need $1 from you just to make the announcement.
Okay.
Anyone? All right.
So July the 4th,
Yes.
my stepdaughter is due with our first grandchild.
Yay!
So we find out next weekend what it is, so.
Good. I need $1 for that announcement. Anyone else?
Yeah, just
Anyone else?
my
Yes,
daughter
all
Rachel
right.
graduated
Please,
from
that's
ASP.
great news.
One down and 5 to go. So.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, any other interest items for the club? Good. That's always good to have personal items be brought before the club. I enjoy that. Very, very
Did you
good.
put your dollar in?
All right,
Wayne, did
Now-
you put your dollar?
I put a 5 in there.
Okay.
Okay? Now, one other question. I have a 5 in there for another fine. Steve Hunt sent out a spreadsheet, if you're aware of, where to put in. Okay, it's in Word, and I was trying to
No,
stretch.
it's not in Word.
Well, it's not. Well,
It's
no
in
wonder I'm
Google
having trouble.
Sheets.
I couldn't stretch the bar. So Regina lost some information below in field trick. I eliminated it when I stretched it. So bear with me, and you might check your personal information because I did stretch out. It didn't stretch, it just eliminated down below. So those two are affected. I'll pay the fine for that. And one other item, let's see.
Sounds like an act of sabotage.
Cindy, do you have anything to bring before the club?
Uh-oh.
Say no.
Not that I can.
Okay, that's fine. I need $1 from you for not having something.
I knew it was coming my way.
Now, Wayne,
That is, okay, get it.
you didn't call her Cindy, did you?
Yes, you did,
So
yes.
I need to send that.
Andy was late.
I'll get you.
Now, that $5 you put in was for being late, right, Wayne?
No.
You came in after the bell.
I got in when the bell sounded, so it's covered on it.
It's still reverberating.
All right. Anything else? Rick, it's all yours. Thank you.
Okay, speaking of the roster and everything, of the directory, I'm gonna pass this around. We have some names already. If your information is correct, that's fine, leave it alone. If it's not, make a change, but some of you are not on here. And there's a list of what needs to go on. All you gotta do is look across, for the most part. But just to make sure, I'm including a page from the original directory we had, and it had pictures, it had information. All right?
Is that the Google sheet?
Yes.
Is it?
That's the one that you sent me, Doc.
Is that, okay, looks, looks like it's missing stuff.
It is,
It is.
it's missing a lot of stuff.
Okay.
That's because I couldn't get it all on there, but I made a little list as to what we need to add.
Okay, so,
You can read that.
I'll put it
I hope you
in
can
if
read
you'll
that.
just get it.
But,
If we just get it, I'll put it in.
Okay.
we'll pass this around as we're doing stuff, just be looking. Jenny, you want to talk about Ryla?
Okay, so Ryla is the 26th through the 29th. So I would take kids up the afternoon, Thursday afternoon, the 26th. They would be there that evening, all day Friday, all day Saturday, come home Sunday morning. It's $300 per student to send kids. The two young men that went last year, Mac and Isaac, really would like to go back. And they are eligible as far as RILA rules to go back. And I also have two young ladies that I'm trying to court to do this. One is the daughter of the soccer coach, assistant soccer coach at the high school, and the other was my former Young Rotarian Student Council president at Southwest, who's now a sophomore at Hickory High. So before I tell the boys that they could go back, we need, and I'm not sure about the girls, they're kind of, the boys are really excited because they've done it. The girls are a little, So my question would be, would we be willing to send 4 if 4 wanted to go? And if not, how would we handle that? Would we just send the ones that haven't been, the 2 girls, if I could get the 2 girls to go? And there you go, word vomit done.
Do you think if you persuaded them that they would get a lot out of it,
Yes.
even though they're not so keen to go right now?
700 on the books for that,
Okay,
which includes you.
okay, because yeah, I think I'm 100.
So we have a budgeting for 2.
For 2, right.
And the chaperone is budgeted in there as well.
Say again?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 700, so it's 3, 3, and 1.
Okay.
What are your feelings about including 2 more?
It would be $600 more.
If they don't want to go, will they get the full thing out of it? Do you think they'll be
I don't-
amazed at how good it is when they're there? And
Yes.
Yes, I don't think it's the whole, I'm not sure of my schedule yet but we've got to get them committed. So they're gonna have to get with their schedule and figure that part out.
Amen.
And it's just that whole unknown, I'm gonna go spend 3 nights away from home with people I don't know, which is why I'm trying to do it in pairs. Because if you take a friend, then you're more likely to be excited about it as opposed to if you go by yourself.
I think if they get to Ryla, mind knowing Ryla, I think once they get to Ryla, they'll be glad they came to Ryla.
I agree. I agree.
But it's all getting them there. But I think
Right.
once they get there, they will appreciate it and want to go back.
Well, and that's exactly what happened because I sort of strong-armed Mac and Isaac last year.
Well, now, I think for the new people, I don't know, how do we select the children to go to first?
Good question.
We've accepted nominations from club members.
Okay. So do we know the
But in
criteria
fact,
that for?
I've lost, I used to be rail chair back when I first joined. I've lost 2, 3 candidates because we didn't get the decision made early enough. And the soccer coach said hell no, and then the football coach said no, you can't miss spring practice or something like that. Anyhow, it's only fair if you're gonna do it now so that they can get it on their calendar.
And Ryla
Well,
used to be a week.
Yes.
It used to be a week.
Cut
and
it
then
down
they
to
couldn't-
3 days.
They couldn't get kids to do, because there's so many things that kids
Sure.
can do now, they can't get the commitment for the week. The requirements, to answer Michael's question, you're really looking for kids that have leadership potential. I have pulled kids that I know from being the principal at Southwest that are now Hickory High students. And I've looked at kids that had a relationship with Rotary already. I think, except for the soccer coach, except for his daughter, the other 3 had previous Rotary experience because they were on my student councils. So you're looking for kids that have potential leadership ability and that you're trying to grow some interact kids. So I got an email from Mike the other day that said they've sent posters to all the high schools in the district and to advertise it. So it could be that and there was a kid from Hickory High that one of the lunch clubs sent that I didn't know last year at Rila, and I didn't know she was there until she had on a Hickory High shirt, and I was like, who sent you? And it happened to be, I think it was a Thursday club that sent her. So I guess at this juncture, how do we get them is it's kids that I know.
Because we sent, when we did it before, we
Yeah,
had sent.
you sent 4.
Well,
We sent 4.
But those are, that's what I'm saying. And for people who don't know, I mean, you can look around and find children that possibly might be interested.
Michael's elbow's still dislocated from that
Because
experience.
all 4 of those, 2 of them going to school, one is not going to be in college.
Yeah.
She's one to be an orthodontist, the other one wants to be a pediatrician, an attorney, and whatever they are in college for their school stuff. So I'm saying, when you look around and see.
There's 2 dimensions to
Because
the
I promise
goodness
you,
of
in
that
our club,
program.
that if we find 4, they'll probably get
Yeah.
selected.
The reality of it is it's twofold. It opens horizons for individuals that might not normally imagine themselves from here to there. And that's a great thing, what you just described. But from the standpoint of a Rotarian wanting to see Rotary improve, football has Pop Warner, baseball has pony leagues, soccer has youth soccer. We don't have a farm team for Rotary, okay? This is the start of the farm team for Rotary. It is the entrance to Interact, Rotaract, and it speaks well if we can start filling that pipeline.
I will say this, last year, the Boys and Girls Club of Asheville or Hendersonville, one of the mountain Boys and Girls Clubs, sent 2 kids over. And I don't think they were properly vetted, for lack of better terminology. And both of them washed out before the weekend was up. And there was also some issue with those 2 kids because they ended up girls in the boys' room, boys in the girls' room. I mean, the only 2 kids that we had trouble with were kids that had not come through a Rotary club and had not been vetted by Rotary.
Well, Rick was like that. Look how you turned out.
I know, right?
Any opposition to having 4 folks, us funding 4?
And Rick, if I can't,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this might be a good time, I'm gonna send around a November report and
Okay.
also our current balance, so we are solvent.
Okay, very good.
So, I mean, we got money, so I'll
Thank you
send
for
that
that.
around.
Steve, your question?
No, I have an announcement I want to
Sure.
make whenever.
Well, go ahead.
One of the things that we're partnering with Lenore Ryan and doing is we're bringing an off-Broadway play to Hickory, B.E. Monroe, Black Angels over Tuskegee, which will take place February 4th at B.E. Monroe Auditorium. There's tickets being sold. And this play is going to help fund our trip to Selma, Alabama that we take students every year. So the tickets are $15. I flew up to New York one weekend and watched the play. Very good. And all of our students that we've gone so far, we've gone by the Tuskegee Airfield and spent time there at the Institute. So
Blacks over.
Black Angels over Tuskegee.
Ah.
Yeah, it's just, we're doing a matinee for the high school kids, and then we're doing the evening for the community.
Excellent.
Yes.
You said the time one more time, sir? Did you say the time?
I did not say a time, but I can get the club a time when I get back to the office. I don't want to give you a time in this room. I'm thinking 7, but let me confirm that.
The big thing is ticket sales.
Yes,
February 4th, you
yes,
said?
because we want to raise $10,000 to help fund our trip to.
Do we know what ticket price is? 10, did you say?
15.
15. I have a short memory.
Just let me know. Yeah, yeah. Actually, a couple of the African-American churches have taken on like 300 tickets, and we just got people coming by, picking up tickets. But my office, my staff will be selling tickets as well. So.
Excellent. And keep reminding us so we can buy, give you money for tickets.
Can I bring the subject to that point?
And I'd love for all of us, as many of us who can.
That would be a fun night out
Is
for
it
us.
just the one night?
It's just one night, yes.
That would be a fun night out for us. We could do that instead of the next Wednesday morning club meeting. That could be our club meeting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we've done things like that.
And
That would be
Wednesday, the 26th of February, we're leaving at 5 that morning for Selma.
Okay.
February 26th?
Next year, when I'm retired, I want to help chaperone that.
Good,
Seriously.
good.
In that regard, the club needs to consider putting in a new chair. You guys at CVCC have part of it in your title, and you have part of it in your title. We'll be hearing a presentation on inclusion and diversity, and we need to consider a nominee to take a club chair for diversity and inclusion. It is a district chair. There is a district planning committee for that, steering committee. Anyway, bunch of folks. But we do need to look at institutionalizing it in the club structure.
Absolutely.
So
Just plug me in where you need me. I think you have one.
I will, as I get those emails, share them with the 2 that I know sit in chairs like that. Anybody else who's interested needs to tell me, and I'll see that they get included, because, forgot the name, is it Zoom? Zoom, that is online session.
Yeah.
We've been doing it by Zoom. I just lost my computer, so I gotta remember to put that back on too.
We've
Anyhow,
been talking about this for 5 years.
Yes.
I was part of the initial breakout group
Yep.
when we started talking
Yep.
about this. And some of the folks didn't like what I had to say, but I'm glad to know that we're sort of bringing it back.
it finally reached fruition,
Good, good, good.
internationally,
Good. Glad to know.
and it is getting some district level activity, probably only 3 or 4 of us districts.
Right.
But
That's
it's
all
got
right.
some activity.
Got to start somewhere.
So, there we are.
Fill the rest of that in.
Just wanted to throw it on the deck.
Good.
Thank you, Rhino. We also got an award. I think I sent an email out to you guys about it. This is the Youth Service Award. And Rhino, can you tell us why we got that?
Yes, and it goes to the LR CVCC thing. There are a lot of things that happen synergistically when people or activities share an objective. In this case, a simple phrase that we would maintain the Miracle of Hickory site behind the music center out there, and we would share the ongoing upkeep with an Eagle Scout project. Well, as we know, there's a law enforcement fellowship, there's a Native American fellowship. There are 200 some odd fellowships inside Rotary. One of them is a scouting fellowship, and they have people who watch the news, and they picked up on that phrase, shared with an Eagle Scout project. And so we got recognized for developing scouting in the United States. So that's that.
Right.
But it counts. It still counts.
There's an International Fellowship of Scouting Rotarians.
Yes, absolutely. There is an International Fellowship of Scouting Rotarians. I am remiss. I've targeted certain guys, antique cars, law enforcement, but I'll publish that list again of the fellowships that are available. Luckadoo would have been a candidate for the Cycle Riders Fellowship until he did that ground loop and knocked himself itself out. But anyhow, there's a fellowship for everything, and it really is an extension of your Rotary community.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Looking at the clock as far as getting into certain discussions that might take a little longer than I want them to. And this is the topic of fundraising. We need to have a discussion. And it's the kind of thing we should have started like 10 after 7 and talked 10 to 8 about it. But there are other things we need to cover, and that's fine. Next week, Roger has a program. You know what the program is? Can you share with us?
I actually switched my program when
Yeah, Roger
when
just
I
had
brought
it.
Dr. Henshaw.
Who has the program?
Kenny.
Kenny does,
Yeah.
that's right.
With,
With
he
the
was,
race car driver?
I think he's gonna try to get Mark, the
Car driver.
Di Benedetto,
Yeah.
the car driver. Okay, so Kenny has it.
But if he doesn't, let's consider doing this again.
Well, that's what I'm getting to, but I think Kenny will come through with something. The following week, Ron Downs has a program, and don't know what his status is right now. He said he's going, he has some things going on, he's going to come back, and he might have some difficulty there, and I don't want to put him on the spot. And if he does not have a program set up for the 22nd, we'll talk about fundraising that day. And we'll spend some time doing that, just sharing thoughts and ideas. Okay, and I also want to talk, to get a consensus from the group, and I thought I had one, but I'm not 100% sure, about whether to go ahead with the dance. I thought people said, let's give it a shot, and I was asked by the band to look at the possibility of doing it a week later, which is actually Halloween night.
No.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Fine. And I'll tell him it's not a good night for us. And he still got us for the 24th, that's not a problem. If somebody else wanted him, and of course if we could have moved, then he'd have done that. But we will stay on 24th, it's booked, we're good then.
I thought there was a consensus that we were gonna go with.
Yeah, I thought so too, I just didn't write it down.
It wasn't formalized, but
Okay,
it
that's
was.
But it's been formalized now, so we'll give it a shot. 29th, 2 weeks or 3 weeks from today, we'll have the honor flight program. I think I forwarded to you yesterday a letter from a Rotarian about the honor flight program, a guy who was involved in the initial program years ago. We have somebody coming in, Melinda McCormick will come in and talk about the honor flight program. Got an email from one of y'all who said that this person would like to be, what'd you call it?
I so want to go, is what I call it.
I so want to go.
To be a guardian.
Yeah, guardian.
Escort.
Yeah,
I think they're called guardians or escorts, or whatever.
Right, I think it's guardian.
Yeah.
But Melinda will tell us what it would take to be a guardian if you want to go. And it's open to Korea and Vietnam veterans.
I have a point of clarification about that.
Okay?
Question. If you, okay, so there, and I didn't know this till a couple of weeks ago, if you were a Vietnam era vet, but you were not in country, there are some schools of thought that you don't get to call yourself a Vietnam vet.
Well,
I beg to differ.
I would beg to, well, and this is, it puts my husband in that because he was on a submarine and he wasn't in country, but he served during Vietnam era.
Well, we flew out daily, sometime twice a day, out of Thailand for a number of years.
Okay, so my question would be, would we consider him
Yes,
to be able to do that
and
too?
we've had that discussion. Melinda McCormick came and spoke to our veterans breakfast at Outback. The last Thursday of every month, Carrie puts on a breakfast of just donuts and coffee at Outback. Last Thursday of every month. And she was a program and talked about that. The Vietnam Veterans of America group accepts everybody who served during that time frame. You didn't have to have boots on the ground necessarily.
I think Ron Leach took one of those honor flights.
You did,
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
It'll be a good program. And Rise Against Hunger is March 21st. Right on.
in that regard, there is out in the western side of the state a World War II Veterans Memorial. This publication is an honor publication of the enshrinees in that building. This Ron Woodhull, Richard Woodhull, sorry, is a well-recognized veteran pilot, and I think at one time, it's been so long since I read this, astronaut candidate. But anyhow, a giver, a succeed, and it's well worth the trip to go see this memorial building. It's a walk through of a small house that you won't make in one day. Jenny wanted to borrow that, so that's hers to borrow. I brought that back from years ago.
And I'm behind on the pink pages, but so are the other presidents in Hickory. We've been talking about ourselves, so I will get caught up on that, especially with Rhino's help. We are fortunate we have him and they don't. So I look forward to finishing up the pink pages. And for those of you who don't know, years and years ago, when you went to Pence, you were going to be president. You had a notebook, and in the notebook were pink pages. And that's why they're called the pink pages. And you had to fill out certain things, accomplish certain things, check them off. If you did that, then you met your goals and things. They still call it the pink pages, but they're no longer pink. So I will be working on that to make sure we get what we need to be recognized as a fine club that we are, thanks to everything that you all do. Any other announcements for the good of the congregation?
Yes. Lynn, if you didn't fill this in, please do, because yours got deleted.
No, he filled it in, but he filled it in up in my border.
I know, and I deleted it, because I was fixing it.
Oh, okay.
So while I'm sitting here with him, if you'll just write it down for me, then I'll go in and put it in.
I'll just jot it on the sheet of paper.
That'll be beautiful.
Okay, anything else for us? Mr. Hunt?
Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
What are you gonna make?